CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Qualia, sitting here with Marv and with Mike Molyneux. And guys, since we have started this show a few years ago, I think this is season number 3 for us for this show specifically. This is the worst team that we've had to talk about week in and week out, which is crazy because I at least wasn't on the show last week. And we haven't really
You too?
we haven't really talked about the slide that's been happening, because after they lost to the Broncos, even, it was like, okay, Cam just came back from injury, or not even injury, COVID. He just came back from COVID. There wasn't much practice over the past couple weeks, blah, 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 excuse. They lose to the Seahawks. We were like, whatever, it was a good loss, that's fine. They lose to the Chiefs. We were like, they didn't have a Cam. Okay, we're sitting at 2-5 now. The Patriots are sitting at 2-5. Things aren't looking good. Guys, they're not looking good. This sucks to watch. I don't know how other teams do this. I don't know how other fan bases do this. This sucks. I hate watching this. Why can't the Patriots just be good? They've been doing it for so long. But tying that into this topic, Stephon Gilmore, Defensive Player of the Year, one of the best corners in the league. He's not looking as great as he did last season, but he's still, let's call it for what it is. He still looks really good. But there are some trade rumors now surrounding Stephon Gilmore. So, guys, with that, these rumors are getting a little loud. What do you guys think? Should the Patriots trade Stephon Gilmore this season with the way the season's going? 2-5, third place in the AFC East. Marv, let's start with you. What do you think?
This is something Mike likes to bring up a lot when it comes to the Celtics team. It depends.
Mike likes to
what
trade
type
everybody.
of team? what type of team are you trying to field? Is the question for it. Are you trying to rebuild? Are you just going full rebuild mode? Are you still thinking that you can become a playoff team? And that's the question the Patriots got to ask themselves. If they are trying to go fully rebuild and start from scratch, this season is not working. We don't like what we're seeing from Cam, this offensive line, whatnot. Yeah, you definitely start to pick up the phone and start listening to what's out there for Stephon Gilmore. He's obviously your shiny car on the team, and you can probably get a lot for him because he's still, I think only 30 years old. He still has it. He still looks good out there. And he was the reigning defensive player of the year. So I think if that's what you're looking into 7 weeks in, yeah, let's look into trading Gilmore. Or if you still think, you have a chance to be a playoff team, I still think you might have to look into some calls and see what's out there, what you can get to build for the future as well. I love Stephon Gilmore here. If he stays, I'm not going to be upset at all. But I think, Belichick has proven that if you give him some pieces or multiple pieces, he can make something work. I know it's looking very glim right now, but I think the Patriots, either way, need to, see what's out there, at least entertain the fact that Gilmore could be used as a trading piece.
So this is from Dov Kleeman. I see this. I know who this guy. I just never can pronounce his name. His tweet: they were in contact and had conversations with teams about trading him in August. Could be a trade target again with the Pats going through a losing season without Tom Brady. So, Mike, what do you think? Are you willing for the Patriots to give up Stephon Gilmore this season, even if you don't think that they're ready to cash it in yet?
So, as this 2020 season was coming, getting underway, going through training camp, whatnot, I think for the most part, people saw that Tom Brady left and, they had Stidham who looked like the guy, and you figured, okay, well, this team's probably headed in the rebuild direction. Like, Brady's gone, looks like they're giving the reins to young Stidham. They're probably in the rebuild direction. Then you get Cam Newton, and like, all right, you got a guy who knows how to play quarterback. He's been around for a while. So you weren't necessarily on the rebuild train. You figured, okay, they got Cam. Cam could probably work some Cam magic, hopefully, from his MVP season and carry this team to a certain extent. Here we are sitting at 2-5, and I'm leaning towards that. All right, maybe we should start looking at possibly heading in that rebuild direction. And if that's the direction that this team needs to go into, your most valuable asset on the team right now is probably Stephon Gilmore, and making a move for him
Absolutely.
that can give you pieces that can help. You're going to get a couple high draft picks, high rounds for Stephon Gilmore if you're able to move him.
Do you think
And
you can get a first?
I do think you can get a first. I do think there's a dummy
too.
team out there that will give the Patriots a first-round pick for Stephon Gilmore.
Championship contender. Yep.
I definitely believe so. And I mean, again, it boils down to similar to what Marv just said, which is something I preach about the Boston Celtics all the time. Are you trying to hopefully build with what you currently have towards making the playoff and making a push? Or are you trying to just get some young pieces and rebuild that way? That's what the Patriots need to decide. Right now, it's not looking good. Here in New England, we've never seen a Patriots team look this bad this deep into the season. And I mean, yes, for the most part, it's still early. I guess it's still somewhat early in the season. Is there time for them to turn it around? Absolutely. But the time is shriveling up, and sooner or later you're going to find out if you have a chance to make the playoffs or you're completely out the picture. And we all see that the AFC East is not a division to fool around with this year. You got some tough competition. So it's up to Belichick to decide what this team is going to look like moving forward. Either try to ride the wave and hope that you can make that push for a wild card spot, or you got to start picking up the phone and seeing what you can get for some of these valuable pieces that are still around on this team. That is Stephon Gilmore.
Oh, look, if you can get a first-round pick and maybe something extra even early on too, maybe even a third-round pick on top of that, I think that you can definitely get that. And I think that if you get that trade offer, you do it. I'm looking at this team, and with what we've seen the past couple of weeks, I don't think this team's a contender. I don't think this team is beating any of the top teams. So you might as well look at the future at this point. And Bill wants to look at the future. He always wants to look at the future. So if you can get an additional first-round pick that maybe you can do something with, then I think you should do that. And 2020 is a fake year. This year doesn't even matter. Look, if the Patriots are good, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But 2020 is a fake year. So I don't care if the Patriots are good this season. I want to see this team good for the long haul. So if they can do that by trading away Gilmore, getting an additional first-round pick, and doing something with that, then they absolutely should do it. And here's my dream scenario, okay? I think at the top, it's going to be tough to do. I think at the top, the Jets, they have a tough call to make. I saw today they have a 55% chance to get the first overall pick. They suck. They stink. If the Jets do get that pick, what do they do? Are they ready to move on from Sam Darnold? Or do they take...
They sure are.
Do you think they absolutely are, though? Because that's going to be a question for them at that first overall pick. Do they want to move on from Sam Darnold? And do they want to take Trevor Lawrence? That's a question. So would the Patriots be able to do something there and move up? I don't think that will ever happen, but that's a stretch of a move that maybe you could do with an extra first-round pick. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we can make some trades. Maybe we can't. But I think that's a very interesting thing at the top right there is the Jets having that first overall pick. But regardless, you get that first-round pick offer, you take it. You get 2 first-round picks this season. Yeah, this season is not going to be anything. You might as well look for the future. Absolutely.